Boom, I'm in the room. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching from. You're here because there's nothing on the telly. And I'm coming to you from the old Heale Manor. And I'm your host, Lord Heale. Now, I want to have a chat today about tough time. It's a tough time of the year. And you know what this channel's all about? It's all about taking the stigma out of mental health, mental well-being, and at the moment I'm not looking for guests. I'm actually taking a little bit of a break. I've I've been overdoing it. I've been burning the candle from both ends. So I'm just taking a wee break from doing this every week. So I thought I'd just do a little one today, just to highlight how tough things can be at this time of the year. Now, just recently, I've been to a funeral last week. A friend, his wife died, and yesterday I was notified of an old poacher, a guy called John Brennan, known as Brengun. He died as well. But it's funny, it just seems that this time of the year, lots and lots of people die for one reason or another. And suicide is one of the things that is kind of on the increase at this time of the year. Lots of it at the moment has to do with this particular government and some of their policies. And we've already seen at least one farmer take his own life to save his farm and his children from paying this ridiculous inheritance tax. But there are people living on the streets that just can't afford to live. There are pensioners that are now starting, I mean, the weather just the last couple of days has cooled down quite a bit. They've got to make a choice whether to put the heating on or whether they can eat. I mean, they say the living wage. The government's put up, they get a load of this, they put up the minimum wage. Yet that equates somewhere around about £25,000 a year, the living wage, okay? A pensioner, if they're on the full state pension, is only on about £11,000 a year. My pension, my state pension, is 9,000 something. And the reason it is, okay, I get it. Back in the day, I think it was around about the 80s, 90s, they convinced us it was a good idea to opt out of SERPs, state pension boss it. So you did that, and what you did is you put what you were paying national insurance, they put towards a private pension, which fortunately I did, because back in the day, what used to happen is that you would get you get a mortgage, but you have to have an endowment policy to go with it, which effectively was a pension. So you put into this thing and it was a pension, and you got extra tax relief on it. The government would put a little bit of money towards it if you'd opted out of SERPs. Fortunately, I carried that on. When I changed the mortgage or we paid the house off, etc., I kept that endowment policy going, which now it gives me a little tiny bit of a private pension, which now I get my state pension, they're taxing the life out of. I get the full 20% taken off of it. My army pension, which I served a long time for, they're taxing that at the full 20%. So, yeah, all right, I'm not paying tax on my state pension, but I'm paying tax on all the other pensions. So for me, I'm okay. I can just about scrape through. It's a balancing act every month, I can tell you. Trying to find enough money just to cover the bills. But we've got a little bit of surplus over, so we could go out once a month or something like that for a meal together. But it is a struggle. Even my wife, she's one of these waspy women that's properly been mugged off. She planned for her retirement to retire at 60, which she did. She got her private pension, but she doesn't get her state pension for another 18 months because they keep moving the goalpost on her. I think she's just slipped past getting it at 66. She's got to wait until she's 67. Thank you very much. By a couple of months. So she's got to carry on. I mean, she's retired. I mean, we can scrape by on our pensions, our private pensions that we've got, but it ain't helping the cost of living, the cost of heating, and all the rest of it. She's constantly complaining about the price of food that's gone up, how ridiculous it is. We're fortunate. I mean, we because we're retired, she's able to cook fresh every day, and she goes out looking for bargains. Always looking for a bargain. But there are a lot of people that aren't in our position, and life's tough for them. And they're the type of people that are just doing this, living in despair. They just don't know where they're going to get the next meal from. They don't know how they're going to pay the rent. They don't know how they're going to afford the heating this year. I mean, great. They take away the winter fuel allowance from pensioners, but they've stuck it up 10%. You couldn't make it up. And then you've got these necky bloody ministers that are claiming for their second homes. I mean, what's her name? The pensions minister. She's married Liz Kendall. She's married to a millionaire banker, one of them merchant bankers. Yeah, millionaire. They got a sort of £3 million house in Islington, in the leafy part of Islington or Highbury or somewhere like that. And they're claiming about, was it £7,000 or £4,500 a year for the heating? Really? And she's the one at her department has mugged off pensioners. The government's figures don't seem to add up. They keep harping on about this 22 million black hole, and they're trying to raise 40 million. But they're quite happy to give away millions and billions. I mean, look what they did when they came into power. First thing they've done was pay off the union paymasters. Give the train drivers a 15%. Give the doctors a massive great pay rise. With no concessions, they just give it to them. And the train drivers are on about striking again in the new year, aren't they? Life's tough. Life is tough at the moment. And it just seems like this time of the year just seems to add to the difficulties of life. I mean, we've got the highest energy bills anywhere in the Western world. We are properly being mugged off. But that adds pressure. And that just adds pressure to just everybody. And they wonder why people are taking their own lives. I mean, it's difficult this time of year anyway because there's a higher death rate over the winter period because of the weather. That has a lot to do with it. And this year, I think there'll probably be a higher proportion of pensioners that die due to the cold. And the tough decisions that old Rachel Thieves has had to take. Yeah, you couldn't make it up. They're all right. I'm all right, Jack. That's their attitude, isn't it? They're fine. They don't have to worry because taxpayer picks up their bills for them. Taxpayer pays for their second homes. Yeah. If they had an ounce of respect, or they would pay their own bloody bills, wouldn't they? They would not claim on expenses from a taxpayer. Just remember, it ain't government money, it's taxpayers' money. It's just annoying. It just grinds that they came in with only 34% of the vote. And they think they can do whatever they like because they got 170 majority. And the petition, that's almost at 3 million. And they're going to be discussing it on the 6th of January. Whether hold another general election. Well, that ain't going to happen, is it? But old Starmer is too thick-skinned. He must be thick. If he can't read the room, if he can't see that people ain't happy with him and his government. Oh, Louise Hay, she got sacked for lying. Why is Rachel Thieves still there? Well, she lied on her CV. They're all at it. You can't trust a single one of them. Anyway, bereavement's a tough old thing. And people dying this time of the year, it's difficult because not only are you going through the first time for everything without your loved one, but it just seems a bit more difficult when it comes to the likes of Christmas, New Year, without your loved ones, because you've got that time off, generally speaking. So, if you know somebody that's going to be on a jack, on a lonesome, who's lost a loved one, then reach out to them. Let them know that they ain't alone. Let them know that you care about them, that somebody cares about them. Because if you don't, they may do something silly. Through despair. Anyway, I think for me, it's a difficult time of the year anyway. But if you can help out a loved one, somebody you care about, then just reach out. So until the next one, thank you so much for indulging. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you soon. So until then, TTFN. Ta-da for now.